Hello, and welcome back to the final part of the Mirelurks series in the Science of Fallout, where we are going to look at a unique variant of Mirelurks that have been affected by Nuka-Cola Quantum. So, if you didn't know, Nuka-Cola Quantum was a new drink that was created by the Nuka-Cola Corporation just before the bombs. You get a bit more history about it when you do Nuka World, and you can learn what the purpose of the project was that led to them basically creating this drink and some of the kind of stuff that happened related to that. So I'll cover all of that stuff in more detail when we get on to the Nuka-Cola Corporation and the Nuka-Cola Quantum and things in essence, but we're here today to talk about the effect it has on the Mirelurks. So Nuka-Cola Quantum contains an isotope of strontium-90 that gives it apparently a nice kick to the flavour and makes it glow blue as well. And there's two locations where the Mirelurks are kind of involved. The first one that you come across in Fallout 3 is here at the Nuka-Cola plant. So to give you a kind of indication of the location, so it's in the very south of the map, almost in the middle of the southern border of the main map. So Vault 101 and Megaton is kind of directly to the north. Tenpenny Tower far to the west, and the flooded metro to the east. So essentially, if you look at where the flooded metro is, so this is the sort of DC ruins in general. You've got the Arlington Library over there, and then there's this road that comes up and then curves north, and the Nuka-Cola plant is right here. And inside we will find a few bits and pieces. Torch on, see if we can help. So I've turned combat AI off as I do for most of these videos, so that we can get a good look at the creatures without them trying to murder us constantly. But there's some fancy Nuka-Cola fridges. Security robot who doesn't care, but he's got his Nuka-Cola branding on. And some obviously Nuka-Cola vending machines, which may or may not have quantum in them. So you can see they are rads plus 7, whereas the normal Nuka-Cola is rads plus 2. But it gives you the action points back, so it's supposed to give you a real energy boost. It's kind of reminiscent of, if you remember my video talking about specifically the effects of radiation. And oh, there's Dean's Electronics here, that's useful. That basically there was a thing where they started using radium to paint glow in the dark sort of on watches and things like that. So you know how you can get watches that have like the numbers or the hands kind of glow in the dark. So that was first used. It was radium, and they had what they called the radium girls, so women that would work in the factories painting the radium onto the watch faces and things. And it became a really major case in terms of kind of health and safety at work and workers' rights, because what happened was these women were told it was safe, and actually were told it was beneficial for them, so they would potentially drink it in water. And the women would paint their nails with it, they would paint their lips with it, they would use it as makeup and things. And they were also encouraged to use their lips and their tongue to make a fine point on the paintbrushes, until they all started getting horrendous kind of mouth and throat cancers and becoming extremely sick. And the first woman to die from this, her jaw fell off, and then she had to and then she eventually died from everything. So it is kind of reminiscent, and this gives us a wee bit of a highlight. So company announcement. So So Nuka-Cola Corporation is pleased to announce to all its employees that the first shipments for Nuka-Cola Quantum are on their way to retailers in the Washington DC area. This flagship test market programme is the culmination of a 3-year research programme to bring the refreshing taste of Quantum to market. Congratulations to all employees and a job well done. So what they did, and this is why Nuka-Cola Quantum is quite rare in the wasteland, is because and this is something that a lot of companies do with new sort of flavours or new products, is that they'll often release them in just some areas as an initial test to see how they go down with consumers, and to kind of test out their marketing campaigns and things like that. So this is what was happening with Quantum, so that's why it's quite hard to find. But here's some progress reports. So let's have a look at this one. So we're going to go in order. So isotope CE770 has proven to be a disastrous failure. All of the test subjects suffered severe internal organ failures and died within 3 days of ingestion. We recommend the immediate destruction of container A32 in the production rooms and suggest switching to isotope CE772. Please send standard Nuka condolences fruit and cheese packages to test group members' families. So one of the early tests, everybody died. So they sent some fruit and cheese baskets to apologise to people, and when you get into it in Fallout 4, I believe you can find that they did sign some major kind of waivers and things like that for testing. And then the next one, isotope CE772 has proven too damaging to their initial test group, which now needs to be disbanded due to their reluctance to continue in our programme. This group has suffered 4 fatalities, 12 major internal organ failures and 32 internal radiation burns. This is an unacceptable number of issues in a given test group. I recommend we switch to an alternate isotope such as CE774 or UR993. And then number 67. So test subjects in the Nuka-Cola Quantum programme are responding well to the reconfigured taste in the new isotope. The only listed side effects from the group are 3 cases of dizziness, 1 case of nausea and 1 case of impaired vision. We find from the sampling of 50 that this is an acceptable number of cases and approve this product for production. So if you do the maths, and I know not everybody's good at mental arithmetic, so 3 cases of dizziness, 1 case of nausea and 1 case of impaired vision, so that's 5 people that had side effects from a sample size of 50, which is 10%. Which is a lot. 10% is quite a high rate of side effects, considering that, you know, if you look at most medicines, that most of the kind of severe side effects tend to be like, oh, it's, you know, it's 1 in 10,000 or something like that. Interesting. I think these are all the same. Yeah. So, you know, it's that kind of like, yeah, 10% having side effects. That's fine. Yeah. Then I'm guessing this is like the loading bay. Yep, so this is a Nukalurk. So got the basic shape of the Mirelurk hunters from this generation, but with a lovely warming blue, warming glow. Yeah, so lots like around the joints and the claws and things, and the sort of gills, I think that's what they're supposed to be around the face, is glowing blue. So these are called Nukalurks, and they are tougher than your standard Mirelurks, so bear that in mind if you come here, and don't, you know, turn combat AI off. Yeah, it's amazing how humanoid they are when they walk, but yeah, you can see the blue glow. But yeah, so we've got the lurks wandering about up here, and there's another one coming up the stairs, and even the shell has this, like, the quantum kind of iridescence on it. And then, yeah, Rad's 15, so we've now got this nice blue water. Because the production facilities have kind of collapsed a bit, which means that there's quantum leaking onto the floor, and that's what's affecting these mirelurks. So the fact that, you know, because they are sort of aquatic or semi-aquatic, that they are going to gravitate towards anywhere with water, so they're now hanging out in a flooded vat of Quantum, and that's very similar to what we are going to see when we get to Nuka World. Yeah, you can see there's quite a few of them in here. You can get up to 10, I think there's about 10, because you can get up to 10 pieces of Nukalurk meat, and that's the only place, this is the only place you can get them. And Fallout 3 is here. They don't turn up anywhere else in the world. So that is the Fallout 3 variant of the Nukalurks. So they obviously have made themselves quite at home here in the Nuka-Cola plant. Oh, sorry guys, I didn't realise you were busy. And basically something's caused the mixing vats and everything to collapse. You can do a bit more with this place. There's a little sort of side quest about finding the formula for Nuka-Cola Clear, involving some raiders that have sort of set themselves up with a hockey theme and whatnot. But essentially something's happened to the production line that's caused everything to collapse, and the bombs probably didn't help either. So now this place is flooded with Quantum, which is having an impact on the Mirelurks, and created the Nukalurks. So you can see they're quite tough, but just like your standard Mirelurk variety, shooting them in the face tends to do the job quite well. But we'll kill this guy. Yeah, you can see that bluish sheen, and his body's going to freak out. And then you've got your Nukalurk meat, which has Raj plus 3, AP plus 10, and HP plus 24. So it's quite a good item. I'm just going to see if I've got any. I haven't got any normal Mirelurk meat to compare it to, but yeah, it does confer more benefits than normal Mirelurk meat as well, but the Mirelurks are tougher. And I quite like the fact that they expanded on this in Fallout 4 in the Nuka World DLC. So they had a bottling plant there, and we know that, you know, John Kelly Bradburton, who is the CEO and the founder of Nuka-Cola, was based in that location. So it kind of makes sense that probably the main R&D and the main development of things takes place at the plant that's there. Which he then decided at some point to turn into a tourist attraction, given very much kind of Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory vibes, that you can go on a boat journey through a river of Quantum instead of a river of chocolate. So we'll head over to Nuka World and we'll take a look at things, because like the Mirelurk variants have been expanded massively in Fallout 4, in Nuka World they've expanded the Nukalurks, so we now have Nukalurks from all the different types, including a Nukalurk Queen, which is quite spectacular. So let's head back to Boston and I'll meet you there. Okay, welcome to Nuka World. So we're here on a different character. This is my first playthrough, so we've just reached, World of Refreshment. So I've basically hunted for a save where I haven't kind of done any of the Nuka World Raider quests yet. So we're here at the World of Refreshment, which is the kind of factory sort of tour part of the theme park. So interesting to note, you see these flowers here, the fever blossoms, that are these kind of glowing blue flowers, and the blue river here as well. So it's very much I mean, that's definitely a parody of, you know, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and everything. But yeah, basically now featuring a river of Quantum. So
attention. In the event of an emergency, remain calm and obey all safety and shelter instructions provided by Nuka World employees.
And it was basically that you get on a little boat into a world of pure imagination and terror. Has changed.
Welcome to the Nuka-Cola World of Refreshment.
Has changed the Mirelurks, so you can see they look the same as the Mirelurk spawn, but they've got a little blue glow to them.
Twice the calories, twice the carbohydrates, twice the caffeine, and twice the taste. And
Yep.
just look at that amazing
Twice the
patented
calories,
blue
twice the
glow.
carbs, twice the caffeine, and twice the taste. So, yeah.
So
Not
sit back and enjoy the ride as we take you through the Nuka-Cola World of Refreshment.
sure. I'm sure these people were enjoying themselves immensely. But yep, so here we go. Here's a
Welcome to the Nuka-Cola World of
Nukalurk.
Refreshment. Now featuring
so-
a river of Nuka-Cola Quantum.
yeah, sharp lady. So yep, you've got, they look like the glowing Mirelurks, but with blue
Nuka-Cola
glow, and even
Quantum.
their eyes. Look
Twice
at
the
the
calories,
eyes.
twice the carbohydrates.
Because they've been living in and around this river of Quantum.
Nuka-Cola began its journey in the year 2042 when our founder,
And
John
we get a
Caleb
whole
Bradburton, was
tour
a budding chemist.
telling us all about how amazing John Caleb Bradburton is, and that he invented
He directed a
Nuka-Cola,
delicious
and
soft drink that would provide energy, focus, and 120% of the recommended formula. But in late 2044, Mr. Bradburton was finally
there's obviously a lot of people in here that didn't make it. There's skeletons everywhere. Yeah, I quite like these. There's these like miniature houses, but they're I'm stuck on something. Like, you know, there's little miniature houses, but they look just like the houses out in the wasteland that you see. And a mini Nuka-Cola truck. And you can take the outfits off the mannequins as well. So yeah, there's another Nukalurk. So they are considered different. They are considered different from Mirelurks, and their meat is different as well. There's more skeletons of dead people. Some okay. Yeah, so you can see that they're well established in here because there's eggs and nests everywhere. There's a Nukalurk hunter, so again similar to their normal counterparts, but with that nice warming blue, warming glow. Yeah. And yet more eggs. There's the gunner. We know that there's gunners trying to kind of get a foothold in this place. Got a little backstage area, some more nests. Look at all the red on that map. And then I'm not sure what's behind this door. Guess we'll find out. I don't really remember, to be honest. Oh yeah, it's just a bit of a kind of backstage area, I believe.
That blue glow isn't just for show, folks. Quantum contains a top secret additive to give you a nuclear boost of energy.
And a deceased Nukalurk, so you can see it's Nukalurk meat, not Mirelurk meat, so it's definitely a bit different, and the properties are different too. Oh, look at all the ammo. Guess this. Some different gunners.
Last
Yeah.
living member of Sergeant Lanier's recon team. We tried to secure the bottling plant. Got overrun by some new breed of Mirelurk. I've never seen anything like them. Blue glow so strong, stronger than any Commonwealth lurk I've encountered. It's got to be the Quantum running through this place. We breached their nest, and they poured out. We felt bad, but I'm pretty sure one of those damn lurks made off with my leg in the process. Private Clay dragged me to safety before I sent him to warn the others back at the camp, but I could hear their screams from here. I know that help's not coming. And I'll be damned if I'm gonna be food for some Mirelurk spawn, so I'm taking this matter into my own hands. This is Corporal Downey. Signing off. For good.
yeah, so he kind of explains it quite well that, you know, the gunners were trying to kind of take this place because they've been trying to establish themselves at Nuka World, and, you know, kind of skirmishing with the raiders that hold this place. So it's all, you know, but he's like, yeah, they're tougher than any Mirelurk we've ever seen in the Commonwealth, you know, and basically he's realised that the people that went to get help are not going to come back, so he basically knows that he's pretty much done for. There is a healthy amount of quantum here, right enough if you're looking for it, unsurprisingly, so because it was an active bottling plant as well, I believe. One would assume that hopefully there would be a separate you know, the river would be separate from what they were actually putting in bottles and selling to people. But you know what, with the amount of corporate nonsense in this game, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if it was, you know, the same thing. It makes me think of Augustus Gloop. I think that's really, really interesting because it's I mean, it's a classic film and it's a classic book. It was absolutely my favourite book as a child, was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I have probably read it enough times that I could rewrite it word for word from memory. You know, thoroughly enjoyed it. I also like the sequel, which a lot of people don't seem to really remember is a thing, but it does have a sequel called Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, and things do get a bit weird. But yeah, so Nuka World is supposed to, you know, this place is supposed to be a kind of parody of that, as well as highlighting the corporate nonsense and corruption and things that is so commonplace in the Fallout world. The fact that, you know, these companies could basically do whatever they wanted to people and could get away with it by throwing money and things at the problem and apologising for things, which is interesting given, you know, there's a whole chat about a certain massively large corporation and their liability for things that happen, and their, you know, I don't want to say too much because you really don't want to upset that particular company. Let's say they're quite yeah, but you know, it's something that is kind of highlighted because, you know, some people seem to want to reclaim the old world and go back to the way things were before the bombs, but the period of time before the bombs fell was not a good time in the history of North America in this timeline. I mean, you know, they were stuck in a stalemate of a war with China for 10 years until they finally managed to kind of push back and take Anchorage back and things. And we know that there was a lot of inflation issues and things as well, so essentially it's something that happened a lot in wartime. It happened in the Second World War as well, and it happened, I mean, the whole reason that the Second World War really came about was you know, in part because of hyperinflation that happened in Germany, because Germany were ordered to pay massive amounts of money in reparations to the Allies that won the First World War, and that basically bankrupted the country. So people were starving to death because they needed, like, you know, 1,000,000 marks just to buy some bread. And then that allowed a certain man with a silly moustache to do what he did. So yeah, anyway, a bit of a tangent there. We're here to talk about creepy crab creatures. So yeah, the Nukalurks are out here as well, so it's quite an involved quest, this, actually. So to be able to claim this part of the park, you need to wipe out everything, all the robots and Nukalurks inside, all the ones up the top, and then all the ones outside. So again, you can see there's even more eggs here, and there's Nukalurks wandering about. And then we've got this obviously here, and when we get close, so some Nukalurks start emerging from the water, and some spawn. There she is. There she is. Right, so, yep. You come out here, not only do you have the massive amount of robots and things to contend with, but we've got the Nukalurk Queen. So again, similar, you know, she uses the same model, but with that lovely blue glow. And she is actually even tougher than the Mirelurk Queens. There is only one of her though, as far as I'm aware. This is the only one that you can find in the game and that you can fight, but you get the Nukalurk Queen mate and you get 5 of it, same as you do for, you know, the normal Mirelurk Queens that you find. But yeah, this is her, the Nukalurk Queen. So that again tells you that these guys, the Mirelurks, have been established here for a very long time. Is that a... yeah, yeah, there's a goo pile there. So yeah, Mirelurk Queen. There's actually a bunch of hunters and things upstairs, I think. Clark King, yeah. Let's go and see if we can get a wee look at him. Because they look really cool. They do look really cool. Terrifying, but cool, you know. Yeah, so again, looks very similar, but they've got that glowing, that lovely blue quantum glow on the end of their spines, and the sort of bodies are more kind of blue colour as well. Well, the green Pip-Boy light doesn't actually help there. But yeah, there's a lot more blue to them, and they are tougher as well than your normal compound. L3N2TG. Isotope sample has failed to reach stability. Internal thermogenesis, so heat generation, resulting in sublimation of toxic fumes. I had to clear the hot lab and run a full system cleanse. Disappointing. So yeah, basically they did an isotope that just kind of sublimated and became toxic, so not looking for it. And then compound M6N5UD. Sample seems to have reached semi-stable, files corrupted. Then Q4N7UM, which looks like quantum. Yeah, I was right. I knew I remembered it. So test notes. So strontium 90 retention seems adequate. Substance stays liquid at temperatures up to 127 C and doesn't create toxic vapour. Thermogenic reaction can be achieved by manipulation of electron subfield. If we can find a safe way to trigger the radioactive thermogenesis, this may be exactly what I've been looking for. Also, it has a pleasant blue glow. So that's our quantum isotope there, and then there's an addendum 0.245. Repeatable thermogenetic, I think it's supposed to be thermogenic trigger, has been achieved. Substance stays in liquid form after trigger but will explode from a suitable impact. Works sort of like nitroglycerin. So yeah, nitroglycerin is stable unless it's struck with a powerful enough impact. But safer and with a much stronger yield. Planning on showing this to Bradburton in the form of a Nuka to present to Braxton, who's the general military guy. So basically Project Cobalt, and you learn a bit more about this when you get into Bradburton's office, but the military basically wanted to use the chemists that worked for Nuka-Cola to develop a weapon that they could use against China to try and win the war. And Bradburton agrees in exchange for getting into the LEAP-X program, which is apparently a secret program that allowed for kind of living forever essentially and becoming immortal, which is something that they didn't perfect, but as we know Mr. House did perfect. Really he got things set up his way, but so this is what these guys did, and then they basically found this isotope of strontium-90, which they decided that it seems to have the effect that they're looking for, so they called it Quantum. And then they're like, yeah, let's test it in a beverage as well, because obviously. So I hope you've enjoyed this sort of mini-series about the Mirelurks. I think there was just too much to talk about to fit into one single video, so that's why I decided to split it up. But I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you're looking forward to the next part of the Science Fallout series, which should be with you next week. I'm thinking I'm going to maybe do deathclaws next, because I do find them quite fascinating, so look out for that. I'll update on my socials and things once I've decided, and let you know when the next part's out. So if you want to hear more, hit that subscribe button, and give me a like if you liked the video, and I'll catch you all next time. Okay, bye.